Hey, welcome back to another episode of Instagram Podcast. I'm your host Juan, and as always, my co-host here with me. Hey, Trip.
Hey
man, how you doing? What's good? What's up, buddy?
I'm usually like tired.
Yeah, all the time.
I'm fucking beat.
Are you?
Yeah, I worked a weekend from hell.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so for people who don't know, school starts pretty soon, and that means like all the college kids are back in town, right?
Yeah.
So it's just insane at work right now, right?
Yeah, it's not as bad as we anticipated in terms of workload, but it's much worse than we anticipated in terms of people being upset and people doing weird fucking shit.
So just like super frustrating.
Yeah, it's just every little thing is so difficult.
I know you can get. We could talk about how miserable you are about work, right? Like for hours. So for the sake of time, give me your top two most horrendous thing that's happened.
No. So, okay, I'm gonna give you a breakdown of the different situations without going into a lot of detail.
Okay, for sure.
All right. Somebody was doing laundry, got their clothes stolen.
Yeah, that happens all the time. Don't leave your clothes in the laundry.
It's in a locked room. It's another resident here. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
A resident stole his clothes. Wow, that's crazy. That's still. I mean, you still should keep an eye on your laundry, though.
Yeah, I mean, you should, but it's also like
you also shouldn't steal people's laundry.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, it happened to be in one of the laundry rooms that we don't have cameras because it's really small, so there aren't many people that use them.
Yeah,
and then half of the clothes got returned. Half of them.
The clothes
it's
that
like I feel like they did it on accident.
Yeah.
And then they gave some back because they didn't realize what's theirs and what's not or something. I don't know. It was fucking weird. That was just one.
Was it girls' clothes?
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to think of like the order of things that's leading up to the biggest one that I'm like, fuck all of this shit. We've had a ton of air conditioners going out because nobody used them, and then they're trying to use them in the middle of the day, blasting it down like 50 degrees in their apartment, and it breaks air conditioners a lot of the time, especially some older ones. So we're just having weird issues with that, which is annoying to get all these people that are complaining about it, and we're just like, we're out of fans in the office because I don't know. And then the air conditioning company forgot that we called in 2 air conditioners to be repaired. So we've had these 2 apartments that are just like dying. I don't know. Stupid bullshit. I feel like there are other bad things that happened. Oh yeah. We moved in an apartment. I'm pretty open about how I feel about these apartments here. Not great.
Yeah. They're like
great college apartments because they're close to the college.
Close enough, yeah.
And they're an okay amount for rent, splitting amongst three people in this time and all that.
In this economy, yeah.
Exactly. So, anyways, they're not great, though. They're fucking old. They're from the 80s. Somebody moved in, and they were immediately yelling at one of my employees. And I felt horrible that this happened to her. But also, I just came back from dealing with all this other bullshit, which one of the things I'll explain in a minute. The other one was the clothes being stolen. There was another situation where somebody's like, I don't have any hot water. And I went over to their apartment immediately after they said that. And they decided to leave the property because I was dealing with other shit and I couldn't talk to them. And then they're just like, oh yeah, we don't have any hot water. So if you guys can help us out. And then my coworker was just like, yeah, Chris will be over there in a minute. And then they weren't there. Yeah. So I was out doing other weird shit. Come back and they're like, hey, you need to go and deal with this apartment. They were yelling at me and told me to leave. And I'm like, what? We just moved people in and they didn't like the condition of the apartment. They thought there was mold in it, but it turns out that it was just like black stains on particle board because that's essentially what it is since it's been here since the 80s. And everyone uses fucking runners on all of their cupboards and cabinets and stuff anyways. Like, who the fuck even uses it? So anyways, I'm just showing them like, see, it's like this. And if you're trying to clean cardboard, you're just going to get like pieces of cardboard. I'm getting pieces of particle board and not mold. It's not mold, but they just weren't understanding. They're like, this is stained and this is fucked up. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Yeah. That's the way that's how apartments are. They're not like homes. And then the dad, of course, it's a Spanish speaking family. So there's also a language barrier. So I'm explaining all of it to the daughter and she's fucking upset about everything. We've got this idiot kid who's trying to work the air conditioning and he's turning on the house fan. He's like, why is it blowing out warm airs? And I'm like, it's because you have the air's from the outside. You're not using the air conditioner, idiot. So I taught them how to use that, which is normally one of the first things I do. But instead they wanted to bitch at me for 30 minutes about shit that's like, yep, you know what? I'll bring up the particle board replacement with my manager. Hopefully we could get you something. But we're not going to replace your sinks for you, man. Just because it has like a little bit of discoloration from being here for years.
Yeah.
It's still a fully functioning sink and it's not torn to pieces. So like deal with it. And they're just like, I don't know. The apartment that you showed us was just so nice. It's like, it was one of these and it didn't have the same flaws, but it had flaws in it. You have a newer refrigerator and dishwasher than was in there. The ones that were in there are a little bit fucking beat up. We're not trying to glorify it in our model. It was a whole thing. Got yelled at for 30 minutes. And then finally at the end, they were like, well, I really appreciate you coming over and taking a look around. I'm like,
it's
don't tell my coworker to go home when she's the one that was supposed to do this. And I'm dealing with other more important shit. So anyways, I get back to the office and the woman who I was dealing with at the very beginning of the day comes back in. She's buying a parking pass, which is essentially all we did all weekend. And she had some legitimate concerns that I was pretty upset with overall with how things have been handled. And I'm on her side. But we got threats of being sued first thing in the morning. They're like, hey, we don't want to sue you, but her roommate's dad really wants to sue you. And nobody's returned his calls this week. And we're just like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? Well, they've had cockroach problems in their apartment, which isn't their fault.
Yeah.
They live pretty clean. Like, I've been over there and it's been clean enough. It's totally fine. Nothing. Because they're crazy, dirty apartments that don't have any cockroach problems. It just sucks that it's happening to them. They built a nest up in the refrigerator on its motor while it was running, which is like the craziest fucking situation. Why would it get up in the motor of all places? There's not like extra shit. I don't know. It's just a very weird situation. So we sprayed it a couple times, found the nest, replaced their refrigerator, hoping that that would solve the problem. And then people in my company were just like, yep, all done. That's all. And we didn't hear anything back until they were like, we want to fucking sue you. It's been 2 months of living with cockroaches. I can't fucking deal with this. She's had to be out of the apartment for like 2 weeks because of spraying and replacement and all these things. So I'm like, yeah, man, that really sucks. Like, I totally understand where you're coming from and I'm going to do my best to help you out in every way. And then like we got to a good resolution. And then this morning I bring it up and it was mostly just like, that's their problem. They're the only ones with cockroaches. And it's like, yeah, but you can't fucking live that way. And also, I don't think it's their fault. Like, they've lived here for a year and didn't have any of these problems until a nest was fucking grown in their fridge. Fucked up shit. Yeah. So, anyways, I got scoffed at in the morning for trying to defend them and help them and see if we could move them to a different apartment. Anyways, the general manager loves the idea, so we're going to do that. Anyways, because that's something that our company does out of courtesy if we have a vacant apartment, and we have vacant apartments right now. So just a bunch of bullshit. And then the last fucking thing, the nail in the coffin is we've been doing all kinds of window replacement, windowsill replacement, and it's been a pain in the ass calling people, making sure that we have permission to get in the apartment and take care of this. Now we have flyers that we put up, which don't necessarily stay on the door. They fly off sometimes. It just happens. Some doors don't have like a good seal on them, so they have like a seal on the inside instead of the outside. So it's harder to keep notes in the doors. Anyways, the same girl with the cockroach problem didn't get the notice that they were going to be coming into their apartment. And these people are coming in to replace windowsills. It's a big invasive thing. If you have to replace a windowsill, they spend a while in your apartment just like cutting wood and installing shit and doing all that. And this girl of age has a bunch of pot. And it gets stolen.
By who?
Well, this is a thing where it's like, you guys should report it to the police, because the best we could do is approach our coworkers about it, or not even coworkers. It's like
the
our company. Yeah, our company has hired a dude and his worker to go and do all this stuff. The dude's great. Love the dude. Don't know his worker too well. Don't know about him. He's just a little kind of like punk ass kid.
Like how much pot? Like plants worth?
$120 worth.
That's not a lot of pot.
That's a fucking
no.
huge,
That's
like a pillow of pot.
I mean, I thought you were
that's
saying
a pot pillow.
No. I mean, it also depends on like where you got like what kind of pot is it. If it's a really good pot, if it's really good pot, it could be like a lot less because like pot so like the money wise, it could be really shitty pot.
It's like a throw pillow of pot. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
So it was a lot though.
But
that got stolen.
But to then report to the police like they stole my drugs. You're like cool.
Yeah, well that's kind of the hard thing where it's just like,
do you have like a script for that or some sort of? I mean, I know recreational use is okay, but it's like within some certain amount of limit, right?
Yeah. So I don't know enough. So it's just like this is such a gray area, and we're just like, hey, somebody's saying that you guys stole this, and they're like, no, why would we want to do that? We have this other job and we like get paid a lot of money. If we wanted it, we would just buy it ourselves. And I'm like, yeah, sure, but that kid's underage that works with you. He's not old enough to buy his own pot, and I don't fucking know his deal, but he's always going around vaping, saying weird shit. So I'm like, it could have been him.
Wow, you definitely get sued, especially for the cockroaches and the missing pot. So that sucks, man.
It's a whole matter of like, man, there are a bunch of these situations, and I'm the one that gets yelled at it all weekend. And this morning I come and I'm like, these are all the situations that I had to deal with. So hopefully we could come to good solutions. And they're like, nope, you got played, man. Nobody you actually believe that their pot was stolen? I'm like, I think that it's embarrassing to come to somebody and be like, look, my weed was stolen from my apartment. Like you could have said I had money sitting out and it was stolen, but instead they were honest about it. Yeah. So I think that that's a different situation. And then the whole cockroach situation, it's been going on for a while. And to be laughed at, like, they just have to deal with it. That's their apartment. Just like, excuse me? I mean, I was fucking livid this morning.
Yeah, it sucks, man.
I was so mad.
I mean, that's your job to put up with all this bullshit. That's why you get paid and you live here to deal with all this stupid harassment.
I can deal with all the stupid harassment, but then not to be backed up by my homies. That's fucked up.
But then in the day, like, and this is like, and this is me just playing devil's advocate. Everything's a business. So like,
sure,
you fix one thing, you have to fix a billion things. You should, standard of living, all this stuff is important or whatever, but I do get that it's bad to get sued, and it kind of sucks because like if you guys had the vacant apartments before, you should just offer them ahead of time. Why deal with this so long?
Here's my deal. If I was in their shoes, if I had to deal with that, and I'm like, this isn't my fault. I keep my place clean. This has never happened at any place that I've lived before. What the fuck do I do? And then they come back and they try to help over and over. And nothing's working. And it's just like, you guys aren't sympathetic to me. Like, you guys aren't even trying that hard. You're just like, yep, this is just a normal thing. Whatever. That's fucked up. It's not a normal thing. And I would be frustrated and want to sue as well.
Yeah. Well, can't tell you what to do, Trip.
Anyway, shit's good now, but man, it's fucking worn me out. All these goddamn negative emotions. So I'm really happy to be here with my homie.
Cool.
And we're about to have a fun old time.
I guess so. Apparently we're talking about Eureka 7.
We're talking about Eureka 7.
A movie.
High Evolution. There's
Part
a trilogy
1.
of movies coming out. And this is the first one.
For sure. Yeah.
It's a time.
It's something. I'll tell you what. We'll talk about it in a bit.
Yeah, man. So anyways, all that crazy shit. Because I don't know. Housing stuff to me is just like, whoa. Like before I was in the business. So I don't know. I always have fun telling people about, there's this crazy shit.
I mean,
who steals laundry?
I mean, I think people still, homeless people steal laundry all the time.
Homeless do, but the laundry's closed.
I guess you gotta, maybe you give this person the benefit of the doubt and they thought it was their clothes. But
that's essentially what I'm doing.
But the weird thing is to then be like, oh, you give half of it back and be like, I don't know what's mine. Like, dry the clothes and then be like, do I own this shirt or whatever? Are these my pants or whatever?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah.
All of it's really weird. Why would they even return it? Just throw it away. If you've already stolen it, just throw it away.
Yeah, you're right. The lady shows up with half the clothes, like, and you're like, no, go away. Just throw it.
Like, why are you risking it? Like, you have those clothes. If the person's there waiting for somebody to come in or whatever, just in case, why would you risk that? I don't know, man. It's a weird risk.
It's interesting.
The whole fucking crazy. Yeah. And I've been having a lot of fun this week aside from that. Just a fun old time outside of work, having a ball.
That's good.
But what have you been up to, man? I've missed you.
This is my last week of summer.
Yep, this is it. This is approaching.
School starts next Monday. Yep. I did a horrible time of tracking what week of the summer it was.
Yeah, you were just like, week 3, I don't fucking know.
I was like, it's week 4, and then like it's week 4 again because I don't remember if I said week 4 last week.
4 or 4?
Yeah,
it's 4, I think.
But this is legitimately the last week of summer.
Yes, it's hard to not know that.
Oh yeah. So I've just kind of been taking it pretty easy. I mean, I don't feel super stressed because I know like the first week of school is usually kind of a bullshit week of school.
I mean, it kind of is. Sometimes you go to class and they're like, essay tomorrow.
Which is
like, what?
Which is fine. I mean, school will start and we'll get, the first day will be a syllabus or whatever. And like, this is what we're going to do for the semester. And then the second day, whatever of either class will be like, all right, let's start working on our projects. And like, because essentially that's what I'm doing. Like, this is just my second to last semester. And it's just a bunch of project heavy classes and working on things.
Is this going to be one where like you're working with a lot of the same people that you worked with before, so you don't have to do any like bullshit introduction type things where just like, you know what, this is this kind of class and like you need to know these things that you already know.
Well, okay, so essentially one of the classes is online. It's essentially me doing storyboarding and script writing, and
that's pretty cool.
At a higher level or whatever. And and that's by myself individually. I think we'll have like one group assignment, but that's what the one other person in the class, and it's not like assigned. We pick who we want. Yeah. Another class is like advanced post-production or advanced pre-production. It's one of the two, whatever. Essentially, we will be breaking up into groups of, 4 or 5, whatever, and we working on animating some sort of story again through the whole pipeline, like writing the script, storyboarding, animating it, and trying to produce something. And the way that one works, from what I gathered, is like we'll all pitch a story, and then we can then approach. Then they vote on what stories they want to make, depending on how big the class is. So it can be like 4 or 3, depending on how big things are. And then if your story gets picked, you'll be essentially assigned lead of that story, and then people will start like filing in and be like, oh, I want to work on your group or whatever, and then you get to decide within reason. You can't be like, no, I don't want you. It's like it's more like you can pick who you want. You try to work with people that you want to work with. Every now and then someone will get stuck in your group, and if they're shit, then that just happens. And then I think you're also allowed to, like, once your story's picked, you can decide what position you want. Like, say I pitch a story and I'm just like, cool, this is my story, but I actually don't want to be lead. I want to focus specifically on this thing. Someone else who might want to be lead can be like, oh, I'll be the lead of the project. Yeah,
just like, okay, I'm going to be the story director, but somebody else is going to be the actual director,
like the project manager. Because there's people who like want that experience to be like, I to be able to be like, I led this entire project and I told people what to do and they were all on schedule and all that stuff. And like maybe
it's like, I'm the vision man.
Maybe it was like I pitched this idea, they liked it, but I specifically just want to do storyboarding because that's what I want to focus on. Yeah. So all summer I've just kind of been thinking about things that we can maybe accomplish within a semester, which isn't that long if you really think about it, because there's a big process of things to do. And then I think another class I have is then mocap, which is like
that'll be fun.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Which is an individual thing for a bit, and then you get put up into groups, and those groups, I don't know if those groups are assigned or not, but that class, from what I've heard, is pretty meh. It's like just because our mocap situation is really limited, but it's essentially like a closet. It's not as it's not as big as we would like it to be.
Yes, whoever's doing the actual like movement isn't able to be captured doing as wide a range of things as you would have hoped.
Yeah, and the teacher is very like well known to be a stickler for grades, so he's a hard ass, and he doesn't like he will help you. He's a good helper, but like
I was just gonna say like that can be a good thing. I don't know.
He for sure like will never like deny you help, but he doesn't just give everybody an A, which in my opinion isn't a big deal. Like I don't always shoot for that A. Sometimes I'm just like, want to pass this class and kind of keep moving forward.
But people don't go like, what kind of grades did you get for that degree?
Yeah, no, C's get degrees at the end of the day. So, and then my last class is like I've been talking about it like all summer is senior portfolios. So it's like individual projects by yourself, and you get to decide what you want to work on, and just been kicking things around in my head. So from what I think, like this semester seems like pretty chill. I mean, theoretically,
right.
Like there's a bunch of stuff that like I know at one point I'm going to be super stressed for 3 or 4 weeks.
You're going to be busy, but it's going to be
something I want to do.
Satisfying, yeah,
for sure. I don't have to any more general ed classes. No more like take this history class, or like fucking here's this art course or whatever, and just like I can focus on what I want to do, which is super cool. So yeah, I mean I'm just kind of, this week has been really chill, just trying to think about like what I want to do for the semester. Yeah. I started playing Cribbage online, like on an app. Okay. I used to play Cribbage growing up in elementary school. And then a buddy of mine, I mean, I remember I mentioned that he played Cribbage. Like, oh, that's crazy. And we were over at another friend's house, and we were drinking, and we were just watching a movie. And it was pretty shitty. And I don't know why. I was like, oh, let me see if there's like a Cribbage app to play. And I was like, oh, that's right. So he made him download it. And so every day we've been just we'll play like best of threes. And for that night we played, I think it was because he was drunk. I just demolished him. I think he beat me once. And then all other times I won. But then the next day he was, sober, and he beat me. I think he beat me like 3 days in a row. And then 2 days ago, I played and I demolished him. I skunked him. I don't know. Do you know what that is?
Yeah. So just explain it for anyone that doesn't know.
So for skunk, and I guess I don't know if it's a term that means, but like any other things in cribbage. But it means that I beat him by a certain amount of points. Yeah. And then you can double skunk him, which is like the double amount of points of whatever the skunk is. Yeah. I think it's 20 or like 30 or something like that.
It's just a large value.
It's a large. It's a large. They were behind by a lot, so I skunked him.
So it's not like completely floored, but it's like fucking
So we played best of threes. Skunked him in the first one, but barely. He was 1 point away from not being skunked. Second game, he beat me by 1. And then in the third game, I skunked him by like a long shot. I almost double skunked him. And
does that feel like a double win each time that
it feels really good because there's like nice, I beat you and I beat you by a large margin. It does feel better, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. A win's a win, a loss is a loss. Yeah,
sure, yeah.
It just kind of like it's just like a little bit to add to like the victory or the defeat, but that was that day I was like, man, I'm on fire today. I was like I'm having a really good day. And that was the same day we played Pathfinder. And we fought these 3 flesh golems, and fucking Gigi was killing it.
He was killing all the wrong things, but he was killing it.
I was doing a really good job.
You were, absolutely.
I rolled I think the most crits I'd ever rolled.
Yeah, you rolled it doesn't really matter how many crits you rolled per se. But you rolled 20 like 5 times.
5 or 6 times. It was crazy. Yeah. And it was, I did really well. We as a unit, we did okay. I feel like, we could have done better.
But mostly because you weren't fighting the right thing. But
I was stuck with the 2. I didn't. Okay, first of all, so my move was first, and I engaged like a monster that was made of mostly arms, right?
Yeah.
And then by the time that everybody else got into their positions, and then we figured out what the real issue was this monster made out of almost heads, and he was screaming. Yeah. It was too late. I couldn't disengage because then I was engaged by the arms guy and the foot guy. I was like, well, I'm stuck here. We
could have all switched, but instead I was trying to kill the head one, but then I can't do anything because I'm just an auditory guy.
And then fucking Eliza was having a rotten day. Sierra got killed twice.
Yeah, it was rough.
Once
you
by
were
her
having
own
a
team.
good ass time. Eliza was doing okay, I guess. She wasn't worrying about dying. I'm over here just like dying and not able to do any of the things that make me viable.
When Eliza was doing having a bad time, it was more like she just wasn't really contributing, and I think it really got to her. It's like, like she just. Anyways, we did that. The story progressed, and we got to the point where Kyle announced that, like, hey, next week will be like, or next time we play will be like the season finale, which is super dope. Yeah, I like that Kyle. The way he does it is everything is like in a story or some sort of like chapter or like. And it's nice to know that, we've progressed a certain amount of, parts for us to be like, cool, new arc is happening or whatever.
And also that means in the new style that we've been doing leveling up and stuff, that means we're going to level up.
Yeah, which is super cool. So yeah, I've been doing that. I've been watching, just fucking shit. I've been watching
shit.
Well, I started watching New Girl. It's fine.
Yeah.
I think
Why are you watching New Girl?
I don't know. I
fucking trying to follow me. Listen, I stopped watching it because I didn't think it was that great.
I ran out of. I already finished, Friends, and I ran out of just like stuff to just have on or whatever. Yeah. Because there's things I want to watch, but I want to pay attention. Right. And I feel like I can watch New Girl and like not focus too much.
That's why I'm watching it. Yeah.
And I think I've genuinely. I don't like hate the show. I used to just like not care for it, but now I've seen it and I'm just like, you know what? The way I feel about it is like, I don't love this show, but it's not bad,
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I think that there are parts where some characters just aren't written well. Yeah. So it causes a lot of problems where you're just like, I don't care about this thing. And that's like half of the story. And this episode revolves around this character that totally sucks right now or whatever it is. So they're just like, it's inconsistent. I think that there are a lot of funny moments, and overall, if you just look at like all the good things the characters do, you'd see it as a good show. But there are other things like Brooklyn Nine-Nine where the characters are so consistent that it makes it so jumping in at any point, you're bound to enjoy the episode for what it is. Yeah,
for sure. No, I mean, so I think I've genuinely laughed like one time, like out loud, being like, that was a really good joke from New Girl.
Yeah.
And but I mean, but there's the things I don't like. I'm not the biggest fan of Zoe Deschanel, I guess.
She's kind of the worst character.
Her character's really annoying and like, it's just a whole thing. But I get it. That's her shtick. I was like, cool, not for me. But I still kind of turn it on. Yeah, I watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine for a bit and I thought it was pretty funny too. But then I was just like, cool, but there's like, the way they do it, everything's just so quick and fast. And, and sometimes I feel like, oh, there's no real like, like, what's the word? There's no like, things aren't connected. It doesn't really matter like what happened last week too much. It's like, cool, this thing happened. But there's no like, oh, Pierce part 2. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no like,
I mean, if you finish the second season,
I don't know. I think I got all the way through the first. Like, it's fine. But
no, the second season, like, because the first season they were just like, new show.
Here's all the jokes. Yeah, here's everything.
And then the second season they started adding more. There's a whole other plot where characters have to go down to Florida and like be undercover and then go to jail. And there's like a lot of stuff that goes on. Yeah. And it carries over in episodes. But for the most part, it's just like joke.
Yeah.
And then they start working on the character development and their like overall stories and relationships with each other.
Yeah. And then I think I rewatched the second season of what's it called? American Horror Story.
Okay.
I was gonna watch the first one because I remember liking that one a lot. And then I started watching it and I was like, you know what? I remember liking the second season a lot more. It was Asylum. And I did. I watched all of it. I was like, I remember really enjoying this season.
Yeah.
And the only season I haven't watched is the most recent one was just called Cult. I remember watching a couple episodes on TV. I was like, I'll wait till it all comes out and I'll binge it or whatever, and the third season's one I missed because I didn't start the show until after that. So, which is like Covenant, I think.
Okay.
Which is about witches. And I was like, that's the one where like, I was sitting there, I was like, I can watch Covenant because I haven't seen it yet, but I have to pay attention. It's like, I can watch the first one, which I remember really liking. I was like, that's right. I like the second one better. So I just watched the second one. So, just kind of watching stuff, being like just a fucking a whore when it comes to like stuff.
Okay, yeah,
turning stuff on. Like I started watching the new season of MasterChef, being like, cool, they're cooking food. All right, go back to whatever I'm doing,
Yeah. That's kind of the nice thing about cooking shows is that it doesn't matter. You just do whatever the fuck you're doing, and the cooking show's on, and you're like, looks good.
Yeah,
way
for
to
sure.
go.
You're like, hey man, you for sure, flambéed that thing, killed it.
Mostly things like Iron Chef or like whatever. Those are really easy to just have on in the background.
I really like having Hell's Kitchen in the background because it's just yelling and it's just like
okay, well that's a whole different deal.
But it's also it's kind of I mean, I don't know what it is. It's barely cooking, I guess.
Yeah,
it's mostly just
it's
yelling.
Hardly cooking. It's mostly yelling. But I know where you're coming from.
There's the challenges where they have to like cook dishes. I'm like, this is fun, and then it's like, now we're doing service. Like, I don't care who wins in service or whatever. Yeah.
But then there are things like Chopped, which I feel like you have to pay more attention to in order to get more into it.
I think you need to because there's like, for this week on Chopped, you're cooking with fucking Brussels sprouts and coconut oil. Go. And they're like, how are they going to put the coconut oil in the Brussels sprouts? You know?
I don't know. It's
but
so cooking shows in general pretty easy to put on. You can put on like Good Eats in the background. You can put on just the informational ones like Unwrapped, stuff like that.
It's funny because you watch a cooking show, it's like, oh, this is pretty cool, and you just pull up your Taco Bell that you have. You're like, this is,
give me that bag of Lay's.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was watching MasterChef. I was like, oh man, I should go make some food. And I made like a roast beef sandwich. I was just like, yeah, I'm a chef too, homie.
We hang. You see this piece of toast? Yeah, we hang.
Yeah, no, and then I guess anime wise, I've caught up with Banana Fish. I was behind on it for a bit.
I'm pretty far behind right now.
I caught up with it. I caught up with Happy Sugar Life. Actually, no, I'm an episode behind on Happy Sugar Life. I was going to catch up, and then I ended up not doing that. But then I think I watched everything else that is out, and then I also watched the most recent episode of My Hero Academia.
Oh,
hey Trip, have you seen the most recent episode of My? Oh, what? What was that?
Because it came out yesterday.
Oh, it did come out yesterday, and you didn't watch it.
Yeah,
this in your face. I hope you feel embarrassed. I hope people can see how he look, guys. I don't know. You take my word for it. He's so embarrassed because Trip's always saying, "Oh, you didn't watch the latest episode of My Hero Academia." I'm Trip. This is what I sound like.
It blows my mind because I'm like, you have the weekends, you don't do anything.
Whoa, don't say it like that.
I'm saying it like
don't
that.
Say it like that.
You have so much time to have like the best time of your life.
But Sierra has a job, and then we have to watch it together.
She does not work on Sundays.
Yeah, but Sundays is my fun days, so.
That's on you, homie.
Point is, I'm caught up with My Hero Academia,
Yeah.
and Trip is super jealous about it.
No.
Yes. Yes.
No.
Yes.
I'm excited about next week's episode. We'll talk more about that.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, man? How's the anime coming for you?
Fucking hardly going anywhere.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. This week has been mostly games.
Oh yeah, the new WoW thing came out, right?
Yeah, the new World of Warcraft expansion came out. So played a bit of that. Also a little bit of like Overcooked. We played that the other day.
Yeah,
too.
that was fun.
It was a blast. I don't know. The new WoW expansion is great. There's super cool things. Like there's a Death Note looking spirit man. He looks kind of like Ryuk in a way.
Nice.
He's got like bone fingers, but he's got like parts of his body that are like fleshy, and he's weird and zombie, and has big old spikes that pop up out of his back, like the wings or whatever.
Did you?
He's a Ryuk looking motherfucker, and he's fucking cool.
Did you hit 120 yet?
Nah.
How close?
I think I just hit 118.
Good, man.
But yeah, no, we're pretty casual with how we've been doing stuff. I think we played like 2 or maybe 3 nights for, well, a couple nights for a decent amount, one night for a couple hours or so. But it's been really cool. Lots of really fun, neat things. I've been playing with Eliza and Kyle, and I don't know, man. It's fun.
It's cool. It's cool that you guys can take it, you know, at your pace, because like I have a buddy who the WoW thing came out, and like I think it was the second day it was out, and he's just like, "Yep, I'm just staying up all night till it hit 120." I was just like, and like I'm like, "What level are you at right now?" He was like 116, and he'd just go into his room, and he'd come out a couple hours later and be like, "Cool guys, one whatever," you know, like, and just slowly making his way up. I'm like, "Why don't you just go to sleep?" He's like, "Nope, I'm not going to sleep till I hit 120." I was just like, and since I don't know, WoW, you know, the other guys are explaining like at 120, you know, that's the new max.
That's the max.
And they have like raids or not raids. They have like some sort of bullshit where like you can do stuff when you hit that thing.
It unlocks more content for you. You're able to do like weird little extra things all over the world, which prepares for raids. It's a whole number of like, do this and then that and then that and then that. So I don't know. We're just having fun.
Yeah, so he was like super gung ho about getting it. I was like, that's crazy, man. I mean, like what were you at? He was like, oh, because they add 10 every time, right?
Yeah.
So you're always just 10 behind. You to level up 10.
Actually, maybe once they did 5. I don't remember
because
exactly.
Every expansion
I think they did
max
5 a couple of times.
I remember when I was younger. I remember hearing that. Was it 60? Was that originally?
It was 60, and then 70, and then 80, and then 85, and then 90, and then 100, and then 110, and then 120.
Wow, that's all the amount of expansion. That's all.
7.
That's
7 expansions, I think.
Wow, that's crazy to think only 7 over such a long period of time. I feel like it's been out for so long.
Yeah, 14 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 2 years you get an expansion. Yeah.
Oh, man, so I guess it is a kind of a treat to have, you know, that, because how long do you think this will hold your interest? Like about a year, maybe?
No, honestly, in the last couple of expansions, it's been like a few months that I've barely been engaging.
Yeah.
And then after then, it's just like, well, I've got nothing else I'm doing, which is not the way that I've been lately. It's been like, I have so many other things that I want to do instead of just like, oh, I'm depressed. Who cares? So yeah, now it's a lot more about just like, you know, I'll play when my friends are playing, and like we'll play for a minute, and then we'll play some other shit, and we'll just keep rotating whatever's happening. So
it's cool that you're gaming it up. No needs to animate it up. I mean, we'll have plenty of time for anime pretty soon.
Yeah, and honestly, like with all the things that have been going on with like, I'm about to move and all that stuff, I feel like once that's done, I'm settling in my new place. I'll definitely just want some more time to sit back, relax, and not like do anything other than watch some fucking anime.
Your brand new TV.
Yeah, whenever I do that. I'm gonna think, so since Josh is not gonna be living with me anymore.
Because Josh is dead.
I mean, he's alright, peeps.
We killed him. This is a confession. Trip and I killed Josh.
Oh shit. Okay, yeah, sure, whatever.
He made me do it as a crime of passion.
I didn't do anything. I didn't make anyone do anything. I have to go buy a bunch of new furniture. Is the point. So one of the biggest things is I don't have a TV that I have a couple of TVs,
but not a TV.
But I don't have a TV that's
to
large
your standards.
enough for the living room that I feel like is I'm now accustomed to a giant ass TV. I want to get a giant ass TV. I also need to get an entertainment center and a coffee table and an area rug and maybe a dining table.
Sierra has a dining table.
That I want. She does. Mm-hmm. Well,
that's my mom's old one.
I don't see it at my place yet. Is it just going to be empty for 3 months?
Yeah.
Nah, that ain't me.
I don't think you've ever had a dining table since I've seen you like live anywhere.
Because I haven't had an opportunity to have one anywhere.
You don't need one. Sierra has one.
Then give it to me.
Okay, I'll tell her to give it to you.
All right, because I'm not about to have this empty area of my house for 3 months.
You're like, I need it. You're like, okay, sure. I mean, you've never needed it before, but okay.
This is like my first opportunity where everything's like my own shit.
Okay, it's fine. I'm just saying she has one.
Yeah, and I hear that, and I'm listening to you, Juan.
I know you are.
I'm fucking listening to
Okay,
you.
it's fine.
But the thing about her having one is that area is going to be empty for 3 goddamn months.
Oh my God.
I'm leaving her bedroom empty that whole time too.
Put shit in it. Who cares?
Why am I gonna move shit afterwards,
Put the cat in there. Leave her in there. Lock her in there.
No.
Take her to the shelter.
No.
Anyways, I think we're done with what's up. We should just do news.
Now I'm just mad is what I am.
Anyways, Trip's about to read the news.
Ishizuka Unshou, voice actor for Jet Black from Cowboy Bebop, Zabuza Momochi from Naruto, and Mr. Satan from the Dragon Ball franchise has passed away.
I think, didn't he also do Professor Oak?
Yeah, possibly. I don't know all of his credentials. But
he's done a bunch of like really well-known classic things, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, homie passed away. This is really sad. You know, it's a bummer when we lose somebody in the industry. So, you know, a moment of silence for the homie. All right, man. You'll be missed. You've for sure have been a really important part to a lot of our childhood. So,
yeah.
It sucks.
It's wild, though.
Yeah.
Esophagus cancer.
That's fucking rough.
Yeah.
Especially as a voice actor.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, that fucking sucks, man.
Yeah. It's like being a professional runner and, you know, you get leg cancer or whatever.
Oh my God, I hate you sometimes. What? Why not lung cancer? You have to breathe a lot.
Yeah, you don't run with your lungs, you idiot.
Oh my God, but you need good lungs to run.
Yeah, but they don't do all the work, dog.
Oh my God.
Anyways.
Fine, what about bone cancer? Your bones keep your fucking body together.
Fucking no bones. All you need is the fucking muscles in your legs, dog.
That Luke Keeks.
All that meat.
Oh my God.
Anyways, RIP. Let's keep going.
All right, cool. So Kakegurui season 2 is going to air in January 2019.
Oh
Big
my
news.
God. And you know what's interesting? We just, we were talking about this earlier. Kyle's just like, I don't remember that one. Did Kyle watch that with you or not? No. Okay. Cause in my head was like, how do you not remember this anime?
It's got the best baka of all time.
Oh my God.
It has some of the most unique looking shots out of any anime I've seen. Like some really good expressions and facial reactions and all that.
Well, I was watching this Eureka 7 movie with you, and you know, because that's when you told me.
Yeah,
I was sitting there and I'm just like reminiscing about Kakegurui. I was like, wow, what a good show! I can't wait for a second season.
I'm pretty stoked about it, man. It's like, it's one of those shows that everyone was like, oh man, I'm so stoked it's on Netflix finally. We had to wait so long. And I'm like, I haven't heard of this shit. Whatever, I don't care. And then I get down to it and I'm like, oh, I did not expect to enjoy that much, especially since it was so like risque and stuff. Like that could go in a negative direction. I don't think it did at all with this show. It was just a fun time and I want to see more.
What's interesting is that, because I saw pictures of it, like, like online, and I was just like, oh, it's going to be on Netflix. So I wasn't like super pumped for it, but I do remember like people being like, oh my God, I can't believe it's out. Me being like, yeah, I guess I'll watch this. Cause
like, might as well.
Yeah. I mean, is it safe to assume it's going to be on Netflix again?
I would say it is.
Yeah.
But that being said, we're not going to get it on Netflix in January. That's just when it's going to start airing. Yeah. So I kind of hope that Crunchyroll gets the rights so that we can watch it that way. Or, if some other shit does too, that's fine. I just want to be able to watch it because last time it wasn't on any medium. So
so now we'll be a part of that group that complains about it. Yeah.
Like, I want to watch Kakegurui.
What sucks too is that you know what? This would be a great opportunity for Netflix to start doing their simuldub here in the United States because they were talking about starting it in other places, like testing it out. And now that I think about it, like, come on, Kakegurui is going to be popular. Maybe this is the one you start with.
Maybe, yeah. And it's weird because they have kind of tested some things. Like they tried the Joel and McHale show with Joel and McHale, and then it went on hiatus, and then it came back with a few episodes all at once. So it's weird that it did episodic and then it switched over, and they're still experimenting. I would love if they stopped experimenting and just gave us each episode at a time.
Yeah.
But that's, I'm just one person, and Netflix has better numbers, and they know that it's more profitable for them to have people binge watch shows and then tell their friends about it or whatever.
Yeah. Well, you're only one person. Netflix is at least 2 people. So
yeah, it's got to be at least 2 people. Speaking of, I heard a great joke earlier today.
Let's hear it.
How many people does it take to turn to fucking, what is it called? How many people does it take to I don't know.
Screw in a light bulb?
Screw in. I kept wanting to say plug in.
Oh my God.
Don't even worry. I'm terrible at jokes. I've never told a
This
joke
is the
in my
funniest
life.
joke you've ever said.
Thank you so much.
How many people did it
Take the screw in a light bulb.
One.
No, at least two, but it's a pretty big light bulb.
It's pretty dumb.
I like it because how many people, but you always think of it like, oh, yeah, how many of these specific kinds of people? And it's like only one of those people, but instead it's like how many people just in general, how many people instead of how many persons. It's a little bit different. It's a word one.
Yeah, okay, man.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Owls go.
Owls go. Who? I get it. I get it. Yeah.
Why did you pause so long?
Because I was like, I get it. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. That's the best joke of all time.
Yeah.
So We Never Learn is getting an anime adaptation. I can't talk, dude.
We Never Learn is getting an anime adaptation.
By Aniplex.
Cool. Oh, I like Aniplex.
Yeah. I don't really know how this is going to be. It seems like just another like waifu show.
I've never heard of it, actually.
I don't know. It has like a cool looking style.
Is this the one that's like all cartoony kind of looking?
Kind of looks cartoony, but I don't know exactly what you're saying.
Oh, well, I kind of popped into something. I mean, I saw something earlier. Anyways, keep going. I'm going to see if I can find what I was talking about.
Yeah, so I don't know much about it, but I know that there is a huge following. A lot of people are reading the manga right now, and they're insanely excited that this new manga that's like such a hit is going to be an anime.
Oh, no, I was talking about something else. Sorry.
Okay.
The thing I was talking about is this thing called Flying Babies TV animation. It has a January premiere. Look, it has like it's a really funky looking style. Can you see that?
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, I thought that's what you were talking about.
Nah.
Anyways, I've never heard
totally different thing.
Never heard of what you were talking about. You've never heard of what I was talking about.
That doesn't look like it's too waifu-y though.
I mean, it could. There's just a bunch of.
guess.
I mean, I don't fucking know what the show's about. I didn't touch the article.
I don't know. There were a couple shots of butts or whatever, and I was like, okay, I kind of get it. But it wasn't the butts that made it waifu, but it was like people saying, "Oh yeah, waifu shit." And I was like, "Oh okay."
Was it the shirts that they were wearing that said waifu?
Yeah, it was all the shirts with their fucking never learn or whatever. We never learn, girls.
Yeah.
All that. Hey, check it out. The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya's Endless 8 will be streaming for 88 hours on Niconico live from August 28th at 8 a.m. Japan Standard Time to midnight on the night of August 31st.
That sounds horrible because that's like the most painful time in the entire series.
That's so fucking funny to me because like people that had to watch that as it was airing were just like, I fucking hate this. This is the worst.
That must have pissed you off so much. Oh, I feel so bad. Okay, hold on. 88 hours. See, 20. That's like a little over 3 days, right? Something like that.
Yeah, it's about 3 days.
That's still too long.
31st. It's a really long time. And here's the thing that I think is so fucking funny about it. I don't know how exactly they're doing it, but they're not just like airing the 8 episodes over and over and over. They're like simultaneously airing them somehow on this. Yeah, I don't know. But it's just over and over and over with the same episode and same one again, same thing again.
Is it like commercial breaks still? So like, would it feel like real TV? Like you'd log, like say you turn on the TV.
I don't know if there are commercial breaks, but it's just going to be streamed for 88 hours is all I know. And the other thing that I like about this too is that it's only like this section of time. If you were to watch like all of the episodes at the same time for the 88 hours, it like multiplies into a higher number, of course. Mm-hmm. And it's only like 1/9,000th
of how long it really lasted.
How long it lasted in
that world.
Yeah, in the world.
That anime
is fucking crazy to me. And you know, the characters like don't know what's going on, and that's kind of
I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Look, it's a really cool bit. You know, in my opinion, the concept's really cool. But again, I can't.
Oh my God.
I'm with you. I can't imagine being there when it like this show dropped and they did that to you, being like being
fucked up,
like they just treated you like shit. God, that sounds painful.
And I watched it after it came out. I didn't hear about all this stuff, of course, because at the time there weren't the same, like, I didn't go onto all these forums and whatnot. Mm-hmm. I just like would learn, oh man, this thing came out that I already like, so I'm going to watch the second season. That's so cool that there's a second season. And then I'm getting through those episodes and I'm like, did I already watch this? I think I already.
Yeah, you're like super confused.
Oh man. And then I'm like, fuck it. I'll just like watch a few in a row. And then when I come back to watch it, I'm like, fuck. I don't remember which episode I ended on.
They got me so good. Yeah.
Because I don't want to jump too far ahead because I don't know how many episodes
you know how many episodes of pain it was. Yeah.
So I'm like, I can't just like miss it. What if I miss like a really important tidbit?
Nope.
I don't know, man. So I watched all of it, and then finally it gets to the end and they figure out what's going on, and I'm like, oh my God, thank God that's over.
Trip spoilers. They didn't do their summer homework.
Oh no.
That blew my mind. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I was so mad. Fuck that show. It's a good show. That's a good show, though.
That was so fucking hard. That was...
Anyways.
Mr. Osumatsu, the movie, is going to come to theaters in Japan next spring.
I saw that. I mean, that'd be super dope to see that. I remember watching the little bit that I watched of Mr. Osumatsu, super enjoying it.
So much fun. So charming.
I can't wait for it to come out. I'll for sure watch this movie.
Yeah, the weird thing about this is that Mr. Osumatsu isn't the most accessible movie to people that aren't fans of anime because you have a bunch of characters that are different, but they all look exactly the same.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to pick up on that. And it's a difficult comedic style. I don't know how easy it is for people in Japan that have already kind of like known that there are some things that happen like this. I don't know how easy it is for people to just be like, oh yeah, of course this is getting a movie. Or if it's more so just like fans of the show or
demanding it or like asking for it. Yeah, no, I mean, it's still pretty cool though. It's something.
Oh yeah,
it's something really that cool. I like that is getting a movie.
Really cool.
We're here in a world where like things that I really don't like are getting movies. Like fucking Teen Titans Go got a movie.
Yeah,
I'm like, you fucking so like. To see that Mr. Osumatsu was like, cool, I enjoyed that. Yeah. And they got a movie? Good for them.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So then next up, Haikyuu the movie, Battle of Concepts, will come into U.S. theaters on September 19th, 22nd, and 23rd.
See, that's pretty cool too. Good for you.
I'm stoked about that, man.
See, something you like, getting a movie? Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun stuff. I like this feeling. It feels good. Speaking of other movies that we enjoy, I don't know if we will or not, but we've been hyped for it forever. I Want to Eat Your Pancreas showings will be giving away a new sequel novel at select theaters at his Japanese debut. So kind of complicated. Essentially, I Want to Eat Your Pancreas was a book, and the author of it has written a sequel to that book that they're giving out to people at the movie theater.
Yeah.
So after they watch the movie, they could pick up where the story ends by reading the book. Which
cool.
I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
The fact that they're just giving it away, not just like, hey, and we're also selling this if you like the movie. It's just like, here you go.
I mean, book is such a like a in quotations word. Like, like how big is it? Like a novel? It could be really short.
Novel or novelette.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
novella.
But like you said, book. So I'm saying like it's a very generic word. So the book could be 20 pages. It could be it could be a solid book because I don't
really know.
It's a cool promotional thing.
Super neat. Yeah. Even if it was like a 60-page story or something,
it's something. Yeah.
And I guess it talks more about things from the dad's perspective. I don't really know. I read like a tiny little tidbit about what it'll be about, but it sounded like they didn't really know.
So. Yeah. They're like, I don't know. You wrote a book.
Fuck it. So I think that's a pretty cool thing. Speaking of movies, the next episode of My Hero Academia will be an original episode connecting the show and the movie.
Nice. I saw the movie. And I'm going to watch next week's episode.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited about that. The movie, we were kind of trying to guess, like, well, where does this tie in with the story?
Yeah, we were like before summer vacation?
Yeah.
Like at the end of summer vacation? Beginning of summer vacation. Before the training stuff happened, yeah.
It was before the summer training camp.
Yeah. Because they were like, hey, we haven't learned your stuff yet or whatever.
Yeah. And I don't know. If that's true. Well, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll be able to find out a little bit easier.
Maybe we'll just see like a cameo of like, because, the word, it could be how deep it is. It could just be something super simple. If it's original, all it means is it doesn't have to follow the manga.
Yeah, which was like the Froppy episode.
Yeah, which was good.
It was good. It added some more depth to the characters and
that kind of everybody loves. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. And it gave us a little bit more insight of what their internship or apprentice.
I think it was.
What did they do?
I think it was internships.
Okay, yeah.
Apprenticeships? No, it's one of the two. You're right. And
yeah. I think it was an internship.
Well, yeah, I think it is internship because I think later in the series they do apprenticeships or whatever. So
yeah,
which is like maybe I think that sounds more serious. Like to be an apprentice is more serious than be someone's intern.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. So yeah, they like interned at these places, and we got to see more about what that is. Yeah. So I thought that was really cool. Whatever this original episode is, I don't know how it's going to tie in exactly, but essentially for the movie, there's like, check it out. There's this fucking island that everyone's always known about that was being built. And it's like, oh, this is the first time that I heard about it, but okay. Yeah. And then we get introduced to new characters. So I'm wondering if they're going to kind of bring back one of those characters and they were like, hey, I'm visiting Japan or whatever.
Hey, how you doing? Yeah. It could be one of those. I can see that it being something like that.
Just like, so what do you guys do here? It's kind of like a filler episode.
Yeah, like a beach episode. Like, I'm in Japan. Know what that means? Time to go to the beach or whatever, you know.
I was like,
come here. What was her name?
I don't know.
I want to say what the name of the character, like the girl character was.
Shelby.
Was it?
Susan.
No.
Grace. Brian.
It was definitely a girl's name.
Okay.
Melissa.
Okay, Melissa Shield. Yeah, good call. That's actually what it was.
They could be like, hey, Melissa, what are you doing in Japan? You know, just doing a filler episode, going to the beach.
Yeah, like, oh man, you guys have watermelons here? How crazy.
Well, it'd be cool if we hit it with a stick at the beach.
Hey, what? No way. Spin me around a few times.
At the beach. Have they done a beach episode yet? They did like the swimsuit one kind of.
Yeah, they did a swimsuit. I don't know if
they went shopping once.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but that was kind of not filler because the fucking handsy guy showed up.
Yeah, they got handsy. Yeah.
They did the fucking the bedroom competition felt like filler, but that's also part of the the actual
that
manga.
was a part of the manga.
Yeah, I don't know. God, I guess I want more filler. My Hero Academia.
Oh shit! Okay.
I don't want any fucking plots. Give me more filler.
All right.
You know what news? Because I got one more thing.
What is it?
I just want to announce the new characters they added for Jump Force.
Oh, sure. Yeah, go for it.
For Jump Force, they added some new playable characters. Okay. And I know everybody's super stoked for Jump Force. So they added Gon from Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah.
This next guy, I'm assuming he's from Hunter x Hunter. His name is Hisoka.
Oh!
Who is that? Do you know who that is?
Yeah. That's the guy that you said you thought it would be. I want you to describe him.
The clown guy?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay. So he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
Cool. We were trying to guess.
Hisoka.
Yeah. And then the next two characters are what are they called? One Piece characters. Sanji, who is like the cook.
Okay.
And then Blackbeard, who is like a big old pirate. Yeah. So that's super cool because everybody's just waiting for Jump Force to come out, and they keep adding stuff like, hey, fucking what's it called? Smash Bros. Can't be the only people out there having them wait on hands and knees to tell them if their fucking favorite character is going to be playable.
Oh, please. But King K. Rule, though.
Oh, that's pretty cool, yeah. They also added, we talked about this, the Castlevania guys or whatever.
Welcome to last week's episode.
Yeah, so it's cool. I'm really excited to see what other characters will add because I know I'm not buying this game, but Trip is, and I'll play it here.
Yeah, well, not here, man.
I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna come to this apartment and play. I'm gonna play it right here.
I'm not about that.
We're gonna bring the TV and the whole thing. We'll play it right here.
No.
All right, man. Let's get into the topic. I feel like
Oh no! Honestly, I kind of tried to fill time a little bit because there's not a whole lot to say about this movie, especially for those who have already seen Eureka 7 once before,
or for someone who like me who's never seen Eureka 7 except for the first 4 episodes.
Yeah, there's a lot of context missing for certain things that make each scene more powerful, and they told the story in a very different way. This isn't necessarily a recap movie, but it's done as a recap movie.
Cool. So how about we do you have information on who directed it and stuff or whatever?
I do actually. Cool. So it's made by the same studio that made Eureka 7, all of them, and also Bungo Stray Dogs and Mob Psycho 100 and My Hero Academia, all that good shit. So it's made by Studio Bones, and then it's directed by 2 people. Tomoki Kyoda, who made Eureka 7, Eureka 7 Pocket Full of Rainbows, Eureka 7 AO, pretty much just Eureka 7. He has a couple other things. And then Hisatoshi Shimizu. He's mostly an episode director for stuff. So he's the episode director for a couple of Kill la Kill episodes, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Kids on the Slope. So some high quality stuff.
Yeah,
he's also worked on Eureka 7 and whatnot too, but he has more experience on all these different kinds of shows. So I think that in the new things that they added, it showed a lot of perspective that was kind of necessary for adding to the plot, but it didn't change much. It just did it in a way that was more accessible for people that haven't seen it, told in a really weird style. Yeah, it was, I don't know. It's hard to explain.
How about we quickly, since again, I know Eureka 7 is something that you really like. Yeah, it's one of your favorites. For me, it's something that I've watched some of. I want to watch more of it. But I don't know, like I don't feel any way about it, you know.
Right.
I don't like hate it or love it. It's just kind of neutral. So how about you kind of, without spoiling, obviously, you do your kind of a quick summary of what Eureka 7 is, and then we can kind of talk about how this movie handles the way they're telling this, whatever.
Eureka 7 is a coming of age story about a boy named Renton Thurston, who comes from a family of very smart mechanics, essentially. The grandfather has worked on all kinds of machines, and in particular in this world, there are kind of like mechs. They're called different things, LFO, like KFO, KFI, or I don't know. It's just a bunch of shit.
Yeah, they're robots that people ride.
And then in this world, it starts out very quickly and it says like, this is the Earth, which is kind of the big spoiler in terms of what the show is. So it takes place on Earth, but the Earth has been affected in different ways throughout the years. And now there are a bunch of aliens that are essentially like going to blow up the Earth, not on purpose, but because they've gotten to a point where they're just like constantly cultivating mass and creating all these bad situations. And the aliens are just like a landmass essentially that have encompassed the whole Earth. So, in that, it's changed some properties. Now there are things called trappers in the air, which people can like surf on essentially.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of the show because our main character is really into this like little hood ass skateboarding magazine essentially, which is our main characters. They used to work for the government, and now they are kind of like an independent magazine profit thing.
Yeah, it's like imagine,
front, but they also do some like shady shit that the government doesn't approve of. That's actually like a gray area where it's morally right, but people think it's wrong.
It's like Thrasher magazine. There's like, hey man, we're this clothing store thing,
essentially.
But but now we also do, they do this. They do so much stuff, but and like we have this cool magazine, and the kid sees it at face value. Is like, oh man, they're fucking, look how cool Thrashers, they're skateboarders, they do all these cool tricks, but they're like, but they're more than that.
Yeah, there's a lot more depth to it. So essentially, Eureka 7 is him from this great line of people, mechanics, people that have done amazing things for the world. His dad died in an event called the Summer of Love, which protected the entire world. And he winds up with this rogue group of people and kind of develops with them and finds out more about who they are and about who he is. And eventually it culminates in like a fucking crazy ass conclusion between all the good guys and bad guys and all the gray areas, and showing how people can grow, all different kinds of people, bad people, good people. Everyone changes in different ways. There's a lot of like death and sadness and love and family and just a lot of different elements in it. With some fucking rad ass action. By the way.
For sure.
Fucking so flashy and cool.
For sure.
There's also a heavy music element. Every single episode is titled with like some kind of a music track or like a music pun or something like that. And there's a very large techno theme to it. Most of the music that the characters listen to is techno, and eventually it just like works its way into the soundtrack. There are like some Foley type sounds and some, or Foley or however you pronounce it, I don't know. And then there's also just like a regular ass soundtrack too. That's like some really beautiful scoring and not just these techno songs.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It's got all different kinds of elements to it. The most important thing is this show is a coming of age story.
And it's how long is it? You're getting like 50 episodes, something like that?
It's I think it's 48 or it's 50.
So, and it's like, 3 seasons, something like that?
4 seasons.
Yeah. Okay, so 4 seasons, 50, 50-ish episodes. So it's a chunk of, it's not like tiny, but it's not like massive. It's not like some like Naruto Shippuden bullshit, like
it's dense. It's got a lot of characters.
Yeah, for sure.
It's got a lot that it has to show. It's got this huge world, but it's all wrapped up really tightly with one story that they keep trying to expand in weird ways.
To tell, and the world and everything is consistent throughout the whole thing. Like the main character's still there or whatever. It's like it's about Renton. So coming into this movie, I know you were excited for it because like this was announced way back. Like, hey, we're coming out with these trilogies, 3 movies, and for you to finally get your first one, that came with a super sweet film reel or something like that.
Yeah, it came with a little strip of film, like 4 frames, and it was of Holland in his like space LFO gear, KFO. I don't know what he was driving in, whatever.
So I come in not really knowing too much of anything. I know a handful of characters. I know, kind of what things are like. I remember asking you, like, what's the thing called again? And you're like, oh, they're, you said, what are they called? Trappers? Yeah. I'm like, yeah. They're essentially like, and I describe them like as currents in the sky that people can like ride or whatever.
Yeah, they're kind of like air currents, but they're more like dense.
Yeah, for sure. And they have like a weird green color or whatever,
Yeah.
They're super cool looking.
They have different kinds of effects where sometimes it's like pink, like colors, and a big theme of Eureka 7 as well is 7, which is the 7 colors of the rainbow, and 7 swell, and it's all like rainbow colored shit. So they really like to get flashy with their colors in different sections, particularly with pink and green, which I think is a good combo. Look at Cosmo and Wanda.
Yeah.
Fairly Odd Parents went so far.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Butch Hartman, you piece of shit.
I know, right?
Axis. Or like, Axis, I can't believe this got funded.
Got him
roasted. So I came in,
not knowing a little bit, knowing pieces.
Yeah, not being totally ignorant to the thing. I don't know a lot of the characters in the show, and so sitting down for this movie, I was like, well, I'm just gonna go along for the ride, because you also, I remember asking you like, what is this like? Is this a recap, or is it's a little of, it's like kind of this and kind of that, like the way you described it, you said it was like you like sort of both. But not either or whatever. Like, I was like, you're like, there's stuff in this movie.
If it was a recap, it would have told things the way that they happened.
And it would have been cut exactly from, most often they just cut it from the actual anime. There's like, this scene is here, this scene is there, like the way Madoka Magica is. I was like, those are recap movies.
No.
The one I saw was just,
the one you saw is a recap.
That's what I'm
movie.
saying. That Madoka Magica movie saw is a recap movie.
Just like,
that is what I'm saying.
Just say that all of them
like
are.
Madoka Magica, the movie I saw is a recap movie. They legitimately got the episodes, just cut them into the order, and cool. And me being sitting there being like, I feel like I'm missing stuff, but I can't really tell because I don't know the entire But for this movie,
same thing happens with like Evangelion, Gurren Lagann.
Yeah,
stuff like
exactly. That. They're like something's odd, but I can't really tell, or whatever.
Yeah.
So for this one, they it starts off with something completely new, right? Something you've never seen before.
Totally new stuff. It's something that we have heard a lot about in multiple iterations of Eureka 7. It goes over the Summer of Love, and it actually shows us what was happening. And it starts out with fucking high octane action, might I say. People are dying. It starts out with like just a blood spattered room.
Yeah.
Eureka and Adrock, Renton's dad, who we only get to see for like brief moments in the series, they're going around killing people from the government so that they can go and stop this Corellian attack that's it's going to destroy the world.
What's funny is that since I don't know, I know that Renton's dad's a big deal in the world or whatever, but I never got to the point where I actually saw him for a bit.
Exactly.
So seeing his dad, I was kind of disappointed. Like, I thought your dad would be cooler. He's like legitimately, he's just a dad. He's got like a mustache and like glasses.
No, I don't remember him having glasses in the show, but like it has a couple of moments where like it shows his dad beforehand and like memories and then some like pictures and whatnot as it progresses. And then finally at the end, you actually like get to see him. I don't remember if we get to see him speak at all, but we definitely get to see him. And he's got this dad thing going on for sure.
He's for sure dad. So
he's a bad dad. You know what I'm saying?
He's for sure dad.
Yeah.
Not like the picture that I imagined, like, fucking war hero here. It's like, that looks like Pops right there.
Yeah.
Looks like
he was popping hard.
Looks like my dad, So again, it starts off and like they're battling these aliens or whatever, right? And it's like the aliens are really cool looking in my opinion. They're not like I wouldn't say they're traditionally like
they're psychedelic.
Yeah, they're not scary, but then they start attacking and opening and biting things. Like, wow, this is pretty hardcore.
Yeah,
and
it's graphic at points in the show.
Yeah, and they're writing their I was about to say Gundams. They're mechs or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're doing the surfy thing. It's pretty cool. Some of them are on the ground fighting, and then they land this like weird it's like a missile that lands, right? And
it's like a warhead.
It's like a warhead, and because again, I don't know. I didn't. This is new, so I don't know what it is.
Totally new.
Yeah. So it hits.
I'm just like, I don't think it's going to be what I think it is. Yeah. And then I was like, what the fuck?
So the way it landed, it was like it landed straight on, and then it started some fire came at the top of it. And it looked like it was going to drill down. It was like really long. I was like, oh, I'm like cool. I know what's going to happen here. It's going to drill into the center of the earth or whatever. And then it opened up, and it started like blooming, kind of.
Yeah.
and then like speakers came out.
It looked like a really cool flower that turned into a rave.
Yeah, what's funny is like it started like, you know, like rave music started playing. I was like, in my head I was like, that's interesting for them to play like rave music in the, you know, in the background for this scene or whatever.
See, that made sense to me.
To me, no,
Yeah, exactly.
I was like,
I'm like, as a fan of Eureka 7, I totally get this.
Yeah.
But then we realized that this music is coming from this flower warhead thing. And I'm like, what the fuck am I watching?
That was super funny because I remember like, you know, the music playing and I was just like, and I was like, this is super weird. And I was like, why aren't you guys as tripped out by it as I am, you know? Because I was like, you know,
there's certain things, yeah.
No, because you and I, you know, are just watching it at the point where like it's just background music is what we think.
Yeah.
And but you're like, yeah, no, fucking techno's huge in Eureka 7. I don't know that, right?
Yeah. Like one of the most sad story arcs and scenes involves like a lot of techno music and it's done in such a powerful way where they're like, fuck, the music is overwhelming us. Like it's being played by the characters. And then, it's insane. And
then we realize the music is coming from the flower thing, and then these laser thing comes out, start fucking shit up. And I was just like, what? And I was so confused. I was like, and like I felt like at that point we were all like, what is going on here?
None of us fucking knew.
None of us know.
Okay, I get the lasers. That's par for the course for like a fucking weapon of mass destruction. Whatever, but this fucking jam sesh I don't get. But then they kind of explain it. They're just like, okay, so it uses like trap R frequencies and it's able to like interact with it with its like beats and rhythms and whatnot.
No, they justify it in their world, but in my world I'm just like, this looks like we're gonna have a fun time right now,
right? And this is nothing established in the show.
Yeah.
So all of us watching it, because we watched it with Kyle and Leandra, who have also seen the show, but it's been a long time, and I don't know how well they remember certain parts of it. But this is goddamn nowhere close to what the show
and
is.
Like the fair part is that there's like a one guy who's in his mech thing, and he's just like oh shit, and then he starts like bobbing to the beat, like he's like, yeah, what the fuck, shit up, and I was just like, this is interesting. Anyways, the battle continues, and like it looks like what was it called? The silver box or whatever they called it.
Yeah.
It starts malfunctioning and it stops playing, and you know, fucking Adrock, right? Whatever. He's like, I gotta go do the thing, and then we get to see a shot of Holland and Holland's brother.
Holland and Dewey.
Yeah, who are characters in, you know, Rec 7 or whatever. And like I recognize Holland, like, oh, that's the guy on the front of Thrasher or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Holland's brother is like, and with quick context clues, hey, he goes, big bro, like, oh, nice, related.
Yeah, exactly.
Little bro,
like,
boom, related.
Easy enough, and that's something that like totally works for the time, because in the show they're like enemies. But like you find out, like, you're like, Holland's brother is that man?
Well, yeah.
The fuck?
But now I'm just like, cool.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
And for this, they're both working together. It's at that time. And we've heard a lot about them being like friends and working together
in the past. Yeah.
Now we get to see it happening. Yeah. Because they get to see why they divide too.
Right. Because they're brothers, right?
Like
it makes sense, right?
Like too. Yeah.
Anyways, so I guess they get like orders to do something. And then Holland's brother, what was his name?
Dewey.
Yeah. Dewey like rushes ahead to the silver box to go do something, and then you know, fucking Adrock catches up with fucking, what's his name again? Holland. Got it, nailed it. And they have like a talk. Again, I didn't know this. I knew that Holland knew Adrock. I didn't know that he was his teacher, in quotations or whatever.
Yeah, essentially they worked really close with each other, and on the project with Eureka, because Eureka is with spoilers for the show but not for the movie, because they say this shit like fucking right out the bat. I mean, I guess the whole thing is spoilers for the movie, but it's all like the movie is more of like a marvel of watching something that's action oriented and pretty, and not so much like a plot thick. Anyways, so she is a humanoid Corellian, which Corellians are the land and also the aliens that formed and were killing people. Yeah. But they're like different subsets. Anyways, so she's what the Corellians have created to communicate with people. They've crafted a couple of different things. They made, it didn't go over this in the movie, but I'm just going to say it anyways. They made essentially the mainframe for all these robots, all the mechs and stuff. They made the mainframes, and like people mine for them and find like skeletons that they adapt into these robots, because they found out that with zaps of electricity, they move in certain ways. So they're able to make robots out of them.
Yeah, these mechs, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then they're more advanced ones as well, depending on what they are. And that's what Nirvash is. Nirvash is like an adaptive, like, essentially it's like another person.
It's like a living creature, kind of, Even though like people at face value are like, oh, it's just a robot or whatever.
Yeah, because it's essentially just a skeleton, but Nirvash is the most living out of
all
everything.
the robots. Yeah.
And that's why everyone's like, oh fuck,
it's
this one's like
Nirvash.
amazing.
Yeah. Why is it so responsive? Like, because it's a live asshole.
And that's why whenever it's brought up, like, oh fuck, the Nirvash, it's like, yeah, okay, it makes sense. I get it totally. And then there's the whole thing going on with Eureka being the humanoid version of that robot. That can communicate with people and learn. Yeah, and essentially she's not meant to bring back any extra information to the aliens, but she's given as a gift so that they can communicate with the aliens, not necessarily like directly, but just to be able to communicate with something from the aliens.
Yeah, I feel what you're saying. Yeah.
It's a weird, complicated thing. Yeah. But whatever. So she's there, and both Adrock, Renton's dad, and Holland worked directly with Eureka.
Yeah, so they're homies.
On these projects.
Yeah, they're all homies, and I guess this is the point where I really like this scene where like Adrock tells like Holland like, "Hey man, you're a really terrible soldier or whatever." Yeah, because like your orders are to fucking shoot me down. And he goes, and if you're not going to shoot me down, then fucking help me. Because you're a fucking criminal like I am now. And I was just like, oh, dope. That's fucking cool. Yeah, I'm on board.
And the whole time too, Adrock's just like, this is fucked up. I'm a murderer now.
I got to fix this. Yeah.
I'm doing the worst shit. But also he knows that he's doing it for a good cause, but he's also just like, man, I feel so fucking bad.
Yeah. So
he's thinking about his kid back at home and all that.
For that one moment, I'm like, oh, nice. Adrock's not a dad anymore. He's a fucking hero is what he is, And so, shit pops off or whatever. And like, I don't know, so the silver box does this weird thing to Dewey. Like, just kind of.
Yeah. Essentially, they were going to fix the issue. Yeah. They realized there wasn't an issue to fix.
It was working fine or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was working
in a different way than they didn't expect it to. Yeah.
It was malfunctioning in a different way. So him getting close enough to this issue wound up like wrapping him up.
Yeah, it was super weird. It looked like the way it looked like to me, it was like red vines, but they looked like almost like film strips. I don't know if it looked like, but it was like
that's what it looked like.
Yeah, it grabbed him and it fucking shit popped off, and then we have this fucking moment where like Adrock's like, oh damn it, I gotta go take care of this, and he goes, all right, Holland, stay here. I'm gonna go do this thing. He's like, no, I gotta come with you. And he's like, no, I'm sacrificing myself. And Eureka's just like, yeah, we're sacrificing ourselves. And he goes like, nah, bitch, I'm sacrificing myself or whatever. And then he ejects her and he just flies off and fucking boopity boppity gonzo.
Yeah. So
right, that's what happens. Did I describe it accurately?
Essentially. So Holland and Eureka go back to doing their shit and they kind of escape from the government. And then Dewey is wrapped up in this weird kind of situation. He's alone, and knowing the story of Eureka 7, it pretty much brings us into Dewey's storyline where he's in like a jail.
Yeah.
So he's clearly done some weird shit, but he's also a bad guy, and then he goes back with the government. It's a whole thing. Yeah. So him being at this situation, he was protected from this giant like black hole explosion.
Is that that's what fucked up Adrock, right? That's what got him or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he like imploded on himself, which the whole world was blowing up like really quick, and they were like, oh fuck. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna kill myself in like a super badass way, and then just like took care of it super easily. Dewey's wrapped up in all of the like film to protect him.
So he's somehow so he's okay. He doesn't get sucked in. Yeah.
But then he's in this really weird area where he's at essentially the center of the alien attack where the most crazy shit was going on.
Like ground zero or whatever.
Yeah. And it connects him to the Corellians in a different way
than Eureka is.
He just becomes obsessed with certain things.
Yeah. So then he does bad things. I'm assuming this is what leads him to do bad things or whatever.
We don't know the exact process, but you could definitely see like, oh shit, he's here. This is where it all starts.
This is the breaking point. This is where they split, and this is where everything goes bad.
And we don't get to see any more of that story.
Yeah. And so then, so that's the beginning part, right? And it's like, that's like all the original stuff that you've never seen before. No. Stuff that obviously I've never seen before, but stuff that you've been talked to about, you've heard about.
We were familiar with it. We just didn't know what was happening. Yeah. And it was fucking crazy.
It looked really cool, in my opinion.
It was way crazier than I thought it was going to be. I essentially thought it was just going to be like, we're about to explode. Like everything's fucking going nuts right now. And you kind of like see it all starting to happen.
Yeah.
And then they used a 7 swell to take care of it. But it was different than just like a 7 swell, because they kept describing like that effect as, oh man, like that's what happened back at the Summer of Love. But it turns out it was a lot
like a different version of it.
People didn't get to see it up close, so they just assumed that a seventh swell is exactly the same every time.
It's like it's just like word of mouth. Like, oh, I heard that this fucking guy swam across this. Like, did you see it? It's like, nah, but I was told that. So it kind of was, it's just kind of, you weren't there. No one was there to see it except for like that one guy who was trapped in the film. So it's like, well, I guess this is a seventh swell. From now on, I'm gonna whenever I go somewhere and be like, something new, like, oh, they make ribs back. Must be the seventh swell. It has to be. No, so yeah. So then then the movie starts telling Renton's story. We got started introduced to him and whatever, and we start seeing. And this part from now on, like they start like. You were saying like you could tell when there was like new things or whatever.
There were only like 2 new things during all of this.
But for the most part, it was like, again, pretty cookie cutter like stuff from the actual show, which actually held up really well. It surprised me because I was like, I'm watching it, I was like, huh, did they reanimate all this? Like, no, the animation's actually pretty solid.
Yeah, which I love because the style of there's some things it's like, oh man, it's so stylized, but like the style of this, it's not timeless. Like, it's not something where it's so unique that it doesn't matter, but it's something that's so well done and so clean. But
you can definitely tell it's different. Like, this isn't like that new stuff. This isn't that like really old stuff. It's definitely something. It's its own thing,
Yeah. Which is it. I think that they did a really good job
of capturing that,
making their own creation and setting it aside. I think a lot of different anime struggle from that. You're just like, this kind of looks like that shit.
This all, I know that. So many shows suffer from this. Looks exactly like that.
And there's like Mob Psycho 100, where you're just like, whoa, this is unique as fuck.
Yeah,
this is totally its own thing. Nothing else should do this style. But I'm glad that they did.
You try to always find that tier where it's like, this is, by itself, just something visually amazing to look at.
Yeah.
So the animation that they're using, from this old stuff holds up really well. And the only part that's really different is they're telling the story, and like there's parts of it that I know, very little parts, but you know all of it.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
It's all broken up, and it's like played in at like really weird times. Like the order of things are different. We get a flashback. To like almost the end of what we're going to be talking about, right?
Yeah, and it's like the very end.
And then we go. I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to tell you how I got here. So then he goes back in time to show him like where he goes. I don't know. He ends up being chased by dogs, and like that's like, and he's like, I'm Renton. I'm 14 years old. My dad's out. Does that bit or whatever. And he's like. He goes, but this isn't even the worst part. Let me show you how I got here. And he goes, cool, 10 days ago. So then he'll go 10 days ago, show what happens then. And then it's like he comes back to some other moment. Then he goes like, cool, but now 2 days from here. Then it goes 2 days back or whatever. And then he'll be like, cool, let's go 15 years in the future. It's like, so he's just jumping around
all over the place.
Everywhere. And from someone who doesn't know, Eureka 7 as well as you do.
Yeah.
It's very confusing. And
absolutely.
It's kind of jarring because they do the, okay, let's play it back and they play forward. Like they'll put it up on the screen. I'm like, cool, but like back and forward from where? And there's only a few times where I'm just like, oh, I kind of get a gauge of where we are in time, you know? And then there's times where it's like, I'm completely lost. That being said, it still looked really good though.
Yeah.
And I didn't even pick up that it was actual footage from the show until you met, we talked about it after.
Yeah, they did a really unique thing where they tried to hide the aspect ratio because it was different. We have widescreen for all the new shit, and the old shit was just like little ass box.
They did a really good job because I honestly did not pick it up until you mentioned it. Like, like the reason they did it was because of that. And I was like, oh, that's such a good idea.
It was really cleanly executed. They had to use it for like only a couple of parts, but man, did it really show that it's an effective strategy.
For sure.
And it was also a tie back to the commercial breaks for the TV show where it would be like part 1 end, part B begin.
Yeah.
It was stuff like that.
Like a tape, right? Like a CD or whatever. Like this is the part 1. Like you flip it over to part B. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the idea. As if they make it like with this futuristic like
yeah, cool sound effects.
All right, cool, yeah.
So, and like I said, then the movie just kind of plays out and it just does the series and it stops at a certain point. I don't know how far it is into the thing or whatever.
This was weird. Okay, so essentially the story that we're telling for anybody that's seen Eureka 7.
Like how many seasons? Is it just 1, 2?
This is not even close. This is like maybe 4 or 5 episodes.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
But it's taking snippets from other parts too. So we're only seeing a portion of the story of Charles and Ray. We get to see them adopting Renton, like seeing him in the park, hearing a little bit about why he ran away from the gecko, seeing him adopted and seeing him like kind of live with them for a moment, but not seeing too much of what happened during all that time and seeing their relationships and like why certain things are effective. Like one thing that they didn't go over in the movie at all is there's a moment where Charles keeps like bullying Renton a little bit, just like, your girlfriend, right? You know, your girlfriend back home. Yeah. But he didn't know it was Eureka.
Oh, he just kept teasing her. Okay.
He just teased him because he had a crush with this girl. So then he starts like talking about, oh man, Eureka. And he's like, oh shit, like you've been in the nerve ash?
Oh,
and,
so
like,
fuck. You've been
learning all this shit.
You know the Gecko State? Like, what the fuck? Yeah.
So while they're having like a father-son kind of moment, in the other room, Ray is like baking a nice little treat for them and is about to like bring it in. And she hears him like, oh man, yeah, I fucking love Eureka. Like we're total homies. And she freaks out and like drops the pastry on the ground. And the whole reason for this is because of that Seven Swell and because of all the shit that's happened, that made Ray unable to bear children.
Yeah,
like,
so it's
that
like,
affected her body. Yeah.
So like this whole thing that doesn't get brought up.
Exactly.
You know it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that like it's very good, like stuff to make us understand like why these characters are important. And is it necessary? I mean, no, because I still get the idea that she's upset about something.
Yeah,
but you do miss out on that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I was just like, well, why would she be freaking out in this situation? Like,
it's not stated unless you know why. Yeah.
They're just trying to. They make it seem like it's more of a, and this is how they're telling it for the movie. It's more of a like we're about to kill that girl kind of way. So
it's
she's
like
our job
our job is to take out the person that you're talking about right now and how much you care about them, and that's an issue or whatever.
But this is multiple layers to it. Just like, okay, my son is in love with this person that we have to kill who ruined my life, but he's my son now. It's a really big conflict of emotions that culminates into more events that we don't get to see in this movie. That fucking, it's amazing. This storyline is one of the best storylines in any show I've ever seen, and it was not told in a good way for this movie. Yeah,
no, it's a bummer. I mean, for the most part, what I thought of the way the story was told, I said it's like it was really chopped up in the back and forth and stuff. So that would made it hard enough for me to even gather like, oh, this is an issue of it, like the whole childbearing thing. So like, I mean, it wasn't the best, especially coming like if you come into this movie not knowing about Eureka 7, you probably won't have a great time just because. You're losing a lot of stuff. You're losing a lot of context.
You're losing some context, which they're trying to change, but they're not changing it in ways right way, that are like easy. Because people that haven't seen the show, they could, I guess, adapt to it. But
you can get through it. Yeah,
and people that have seen the show are going to be thinking about the show instead of the movie. Yeah. So it makes it hard to adapt to it for either party.
Yeah. So if they made it people who've seen the show, they can be like, well, the show's better. I don't like the way they did this.
Yeah.
Some people might like it, and again, you're allowed to like things like anybody else, right? We always say, if you like something and we don't, whatever, fuck us, right? Who cares? Yeah. So, but from your point of view, you think it wasn't done that well. It wasn't,
No, which is a shame because the Summer of Love stuff, they didn't go too into detail about like the plot elements of it.
It just kind of started off going crazy.
Yeah, it was just nuts, which was really great in terms of somebody who knows everything that happened in the show. I fucking love that. Amazing job. They did so good at the beginning. The techno warhead was kind of
weird, but it was like cool. I guess it kind of makes sense or whatever. Yeah.
I guess whatever. Then the recap stuff was done in a not so coherent way.
For sure.
Just to kind of like refresh how it's told, Renton is it already shows that he's adopted. And then it's like, how did I get adopted? I wasn't, this way or whatever. And then it goes back and it shows him running away. And then
he's like, why did I run away? Yeah.
Yeah. And then, it shows a little bit about him like accumulating all this like trust and this relationship with Charles and Ray. And it's like, how did I meet them? And then it shows that. And then it's like, but why would I even come to this situation? So it goes and it shows the experience that happens. They're like, each season has an experience, which is like a very strange, psychedelic, surreal series of episodes. This one in particular, they're crashing in a cave for a while. There's a lot of like kind of weird stuff that are happening in the cave, and it's explained later about specifically why. And essentially, they're both just like on this bizarre adventure on their own in different ways. Eureka, I think, had been she was resting a bunch. They had gotten in a couple of fights or something, and Renton's off doing like this own shit, and he's kind of like the shit boy at this time. And then Eureka wanders off alone because she's being called out to by something. Eureka is having this completely different experience from Renton, who's having these dreams a bunch where he's interacting with another character and Eureka through the dreams. And so even though he hasn't ever met this other character, he sees her a lot, and they're talking to each other, and they're interacting in like really weird ways. Then Eureka winds up getting sucked into the original alien, and she's trying to like merge back with it, but not by her own will, just kind of because of these weird situations that are happening, and like her emotions are going fucking nuts. And Renton realizes this is an issue, gets in the Nirvash, and the Nirvash is just like kind of going on its own while Renton's like tripping out. Pulls out Eureka. Eureka's like covered with crazy goo. They have to go to this special doctor that's like trying to help her out. Renton doesn't understand any of it. Eureka also has all these kids.
Yeah, it's a bunch of stuff.
They're not shown in the movie. So they're going through a lot of shit, and Renton doesn't know how to process it. And everyone's like, fuck you for making this happen to Eureka. And he runs away. But it doesn't really show that well.
It just kind of, because the way it's cut up, it definitely looks like, it looks like fucking everybody's mad at Renton in the get-go. Fucking the homie points at him, and fucking Renton bites him or whatever. Yeah. And it's like, cool, get out of here. And in my head, it's like, cool, Renton got kicked out the get-go because he bit him. I'd be mad too if someone fucking bit me. And it's not communicated very well.
It's not. She's like, yeah, fuck that guy. He's biting people.
You gonna bite me? I'm the fucking boss. I'm on the fucking cover of Thrash. You're gonna bite me? So I mean, again, from somebody like who hasn't seen any of it, it just seems kind of convoluted. From some, all of it's just kind of madness. For someone who's seen all of it, you're just like, wow, they really fucked up this edit. Like, as someone who's edited videos before, it's like they could have cut this up in a different way. The way they're cutting it up is just really like not efficient, or it's just poorly done, or whatever. Because
they were just trying to explain why did Renton run away after this experience with Eureka, and they don't do a good job of explaining that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the way that it happens in the show is so much different that I'm just like, couldn't you guys have like changed why he ran away or something?
Exactly.
Because it doesn't seem like you're staying true to the
made
plot.
It a little more clear. Yeah. No, and I remember I feel like the movie, because then the movie ends or whatever. Everything's explained. He's going back to the get-go. He's like, I'm coming back,
Yeah.
And the movie ends and the credits roll, and I feel like you guys were just kind of sitting there, and like Leander leaves, and was like, and I felt like, oh, cool, we watched the movie, and you guys, I didn't know how you guys felt about it, but then like,
it's because the story wasn't over,
and then the trailer starts for for the part 2 or whatever, and I was like, oh, it looks super cool, again, not knowing anything about it, but then you're like, you guys are seeing a bunch of stuff you wanted to see in this one.
It's not necessarily that, it's more like we wanted to see new stuff, and everything that's going to happen in the next movie looks like fucking crazy shit. Yeah. They're like, all right, so that last arc that's like 7 episodes long? Yeah, we're doing parts of that. We're also doing parts of like, I don't know, the 2nd season, but now it's going to be an idol show instead. And you remember that weird soccer episode?
Boom, like soccer robots.
The 3rd episode or the 3rd season? Yeah, we got that going on with mechs instead. Yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck is all this?
It looks like fun.
It looks crazy. I'm definitely going to watch the next one. And I hope it's not as much recap or any recap.
Yeah.
Because they just did a bad job. Mm-hmm. The whole story with Charles and Ray, it starts out different. It accumulates this like really strong bond. And you genuinely feel like these characters are the only cartoon characters I've ever seen that feel like they're in love. Mm-hmm. In this movie, it was a lot more like, we just like Renton.
Check out that hot girl over there. She raves. I rave. Let's do it.
Yeah, but...
And then they adopt a kid. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, they didn't establish a relationship. There's a small period, too, where I don't really know. I thought I knew why they would show it, but it turns out that they were just doing weird other shit. There's a story about a girl who is of a certain... she's of a certain religion.
Yeah, and she's sick or whatever, right?
Yeah, she's sick, and she's not able to have life support because of that, and she's supposed to go on to, like... the afterlife and everything, and Renton wants to help, so he goes and does this whole thing, but that religion just like caused a terrorist attack,
so everybody really very recently doesn't like her. Yeah,
so nobody wants to see her around because all of their loved ones just died or they're like severely injured, stuff like that.
And they blame this poor girl who it wasn't her fault, she didn't do it, but there's like, like anything, you're like, you're a part of it, you were just gonna blame you, and so it's like a whole thing. But that also kind of came into me like, that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, and it didn't
really resolve, right?
Yeah, it didn't start anywhere, and it didn't end anywhere.
No, like I was sitting there, and we were trying to I literally go over, and I look at you, and I'm like, did she like die or whatever? Like, did she? And then like, yeah, it's like it said there she died. Like I blinked for a second, and I was just like, she died.
Yeah, essentially, the parents come back and they're like, because Renton's all upset about the whole situation. He's like, I was so selfish. I just wanted to save her so that I could be a good guy. I wasn't thinking about what she wanted, which was to like pass on away, to heaven and go with what her religion said. And one of the huge plots of the show, which it doesn't develop until later, but you realize all throughout it's kind of been showing this, is just harmony between all religions and races. And this was trying to establish that. I'm like, oh, this is a good jumping off point. And then they didn't do anything with it.
It was kind of shoehorned in, and it didn't really, come to any sort of resolution or anything that's, worthy of it being there,
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I felt too. I'm like, cool, that's a weird thing to just kind of put in there. Because I was like, this must be a really big arc. I was like, no, it's all of like 2 seconds or whatever.
Yeah, that was essentially like an episode, and it focused more on other stuff than what it showed there. And I think the point of adding that in there was to show that Renton is figuring stuff out about himself and realizing that he's just like a little shit. And also it's Ray and Charles being able to
like show that they care about him and support him and like teach him. Yeah, and at the very end there's like, it's okay, you're trying to do the right thing. But we're adults,
yeah, exactly. It was
a very parenting moment. We're like, cool, whatever.
It didn't feel right. Nothing really felt right. And the way that the story ends with that Charles and Ray arc is there's death, there's sadness, there's a lot of emotion, and it all comes down to the relationships of these characters on the Gecko versus the characters on I don't remember what they called it, the Swan or some shit like that. But it does not do a good job at establishing that these characters really know each other, other than they were at the summer of love together.
Yeah, they would just happen to be in the same place at the same time.
Yeah, they were both working for the government in different ways. And
well, look, man, for the most part, like all I can say is this movie probably isn't for someone who's never seen Eureka 7.
No,
unfortunately. It's definitely geared for people who have seen it before, but you might not like it if you've seen it before, because you might be like, well, the show's better, and there's nothing you can really do about that. I mean, the summer of love part in the beginning was a lot of fun. It looked really cool.
So overall, visually, very good.
Yeah, it's still good.
The old stuff held up so well.
I'd say so. I'd say it looks really nice compared to like stuff that's coming out now. I'm like, oh, cool, this looks solid, and I didn't even notice it was an old footage. I was like, cool, yeah, holds up. I like the music a lot. It's something I didn't realize.
The music was really good, except for one particular track which they used. In the show, they have some like goofy kind of like, shit doesn't really matter right now songs that they use, and they used that during the movie at a point where it was like
kind of
supposed to be an emotional moment, and it was just weird.
I think I noticed that too, where it's like, this is kind of a weird choice of
it felt
music to play here, but for the most part, still good music. Really like the outro song. I was like, as soon as it started playing, I was like, oh, nice. It started humming it. I was like, I like this. It's in English. It's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, do you need to see this? I don't think it's like a must watch. We're interested. I mean, I know you are, but I'm interested to see the second one. See what they do.
I'm way more interested in the second one because they're changing shit up a lot.
Yeah.
I don't expect to like it, mostly because the second one is called Anemone. Anemone is my favorite character from anything, and I feel like they won't do a good job at telling her story arc, especially since they turned her into a pop star.
Yeah,
which and then fucking weird. Just from the trailer, they turned her into a pop star. I don't know.
Yeah. And then Kyle was saying like, well, that's kind of, he was like pointing out like, well, it's kind of weird that like the stuff that they're showing in the second one is pretty far into the show. They're like, what's the third part going to be? Like, what's the third movie going to be? So we don't even have an idea what that'll be.
That's what I'm excited about the second one for, is that they're retelling the story in different ways. And the third movie might be totally new other shit.
Yep.
Because they've told the story of Eureka 7 in so many different ways, in so many different styles. Essentially, this movie was stuff we already knew about and stuff that's already happened. The next movie is going to be new shit in the world we already know, along with shit from other movies, kind of.
Yeah.
There are essentially two Nirvashes in a way, which comes in later in the story, and that has to do with Anemone as well. And they kind of show a little snippet of that where they had this like gooey looking cute dude.
Yeah. You were talking about him a bit ago. Yeah.
In Eureka 7 Pocket Full of Rainbows, it was a retelling of the story in a totally different way, totally different story actually, where I believe Eureka and Renton are siblings, and then Nirvash is a little goopy alien friend that they have. Yeah. So they've got that goopy alien friend.
in part 2.
Part 2
So you're like,
of High Evolution
so
and M&A.
yeah, it kind of looks like they're blending everything together.
It looked really weird. And then the parts that were like at the end of the movie, no idea where that's going to tie in exactly with everything else. It's going to be fucking whack.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna watch it because we end up watching all this bullshit, right? So
I want to watch it because, let me just put it this way: Eureka 7, possibly my favorite show I've ever seen. Then Eureka 7 AO, the worst show I've ever seen, hands down.
worse than Handshakers.
Yeah,
I guess because it ruins one of your favorite things. Yeah.
It's investment, and essentially for anyone that hasn't seen Eureka 7 AO, I strongly encourage you not to see it because they literally at the end say nothing happened from Eureka 7.
They just they retcon all of it.
Yeah, essentially they're like, here's some time travel shit. We don't want any of that to happen. So this is Earth, and we don't want Earth in the future to happen. So we're going to stop it from happening at all. All right, cool. Hey, we stopped it. Nobody has to be hurt. Good job, everyone.
Nice. No Wrench and Thurston.
Yeah, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Anyways.
I hated it. And then Eureka 7 Pocket Full of Rainbows. Totally different story. Its own thing. It was more enjoyable to watch than
AO.
Way more than AO.
Yeah.
But it was more enjoyable to watch than the recap portion of this movie. Just because it was so much different shit. It was way, way different. They did reuse some scenes and cut things in certain ways, but they made it its own story. And I think that they did a pretty good job of doing that. So it's weird that there have been so many iterations and they're still trying. And it's in different ways that I don't really agree with.
Hey, man.
I don't know, man.
It's not your call, but
Eureka 7 AO was so close to being fun and good. And they just had a lot of it was just oh man, a lot of buildup. Oh shit, here's Eureka. Oh, that's so cool. Oh man, Renton's here. Now shit's really going to pop up. And he's just nah, man, I'm just going to not exist. Don't worry.
I'm just going to restart the whole universe.
No!
Well, that was,
that was Eureka 7.
That was Eureka 7,
High Evolution 1.
So yeah, we'll come back when the 2 and 3 come out eventually, and we'll review them. But that was that. I don't know what we're doing next week. I know that you and I are planning on
an idea, but I don't know how long it is.
We'll talk about it. But I know that you and I for sure are watching the Night is Short Walk On Girl on Wednesday, which is super exciting because I really enjoyed that movie.
It's weird. It's one of those things where we watched it and we were like, yeah, it was really good and interesting and weird. And then each time I look back at it, I'm like, that was fantastic.
It's a lot of fun, and it's cool to see it in theaters just because, it'll be a big old screen, and feel like we're actually, doing its service as opposed to just watching it on my computer.
I'm so excited.
So but we already reviewed that. If you want to know what we think about that, go check out the review.
Honestly, go see it in theaters.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this episode today, it's out tonight, so please watch that. And if you're listening to it today and don't have time to listen to it tonight or go watch it tonight,
figure it out.
It's going to be there tomorrow too.
Watch,
it's on the 22nd and 23rd. Night is Short, Walk On Girl.
Well, that's what we're doing. It's gonna be super fun. But again, not reviewing that. We already did. It's a great movie.
But we are going to talk about it again next week.
We're going to figure out what we're going to do later. But yeah, that's it. That's the show.
That's it.
Anyways, I got in trouble for not doing this right, so I'm gonna do it right. Hey, if you like our logo, hit up Erin from Turvy Tops.
Turvy Tops.
She's a great artist, super cool to work with. We're thinking about having her commission some new artwork for us, which would be super fun. But yeah, check her out. She's a really good person. If you like our theme song, hit up Tom Nasser. He's on SoundCloud. Nasser, NASR. He's fine. He's whatever, right? I don't care about this guy.
Okay, cool.
He's my favorite guy.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Trip, where can people find us?
You can find us on Facebook. Look up the Instant Ramen Podcast. Same thing goes for Instagram. Look up the Instant Ramen Podcast. If you want to find us on Twitter, tweet at Instant Ramen Pod.
Podcast.
And you could shoot us an email, tell us some stuff. Instant Ramen Podcast at gmail.com. We've got other shit going on sometimes. Work's slowing down a little bit for me, so maybe I'm going to start blogging again. Nice. I almost did today.
Huh? Hey, you don't know. Maybe you will. Maybe you won't. We don't know. Anyways, it's about from Juan.
I'll see you around from Chris.
Hey, Trip, don't forget.
Just add hot water.